Welcome to the Enterprise Thought Leadership Podcast, where we explore the latest in enterprise trends, tech, and strategy with the top leaders shaping the future.
Hi, we welcome you to a podcast on stage with enterprise thought leaders. My name is Kanika, and I'm the managing editor of TalkMarTech, which is our marketing technology publication. We have engaging conversations with global thought leaders and industry experts, reaching over 1.3 million business leaders worldwide. As industry leaders like OpenAI Chairman Bret Taylor slam tech giants for restricting client data access, new research from Usercentrics, a consent management platform, exposes a deeper crisis. Consumers don't trust brands, yet most have no idea how to control their own data. In this research, 80% of boomers said, and 58% of Gen Z say they are uncomfortable with their data being used for AI. Yet only 37% have customized their privacy settings. The real AI data war isn't between vendors, it's between brands and consumer trust. Today, TalkMarTech speaks with Usercentrics senior data privacy expert Tilman Harmeling to discuss why brands are losing the battle for consumer trust and what it really takes to turn privacy controls into loyalty in the era of AI. It's great to have you here today with us, Tilman. Thanks for being here. Thanks for making time for us.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to be here.
So a little bit of introduction about him. He's a data protection expert with a career focus on the business and technical complexities of privacy. Tilman is primarily involved in data-driven projects, which are related to consent-based marketing, like opt-in analysis and optimization, and the influence of AI on consent and preference management. Tilman's goals are to understand the ever-changing privacy landscape and find opportunities for innovation. He's a sought-after speaker on current privacy topics at events like PrivSec Global, OMR, the Mexico, and BCG Martech series and Leadership Beyond Borders. We really very happy to have you with us. Since this is exactly what we try to speak to our audiences on a daily basis, so I think your inputs are going to be priceless for everyone who is into TalkMarTech. Thanks so much, Tilman, for being here.
Pleasure. Yeah.
Is there something you would like to say before we start with the questions?
No, maybe some introductory words about the research itself, so that the academia world is also happy. But besides that, we can also dive right into the questions. Okay, so I can also, to be honest, quickly describe a little bit what we thought about inside of the insights, what the report is about, and give some context here. So we commissioned a report by a research agency. We had to make sure, obviously, that the sample size is big. So we asked 10,000 consumers who frequently use the internet, not just in the European Union. We focused on markets like the UK, Germany, Italy, Spain, and also the Netherlands, but also obviously in the United States. All of this happened during May 2025. And obviously the goal was to have kind of an updated view on the state of digital trust, how digital privacy fundamentally evolves and what consent has to do with it.
Yeah, and the data that it has thrown up is really interesting. And it's really interesting that you divided it by age groups, but you've missed out on Gen X.
Yes, it could be.
So your major market is going to be Gen Z going forward, so it's smarter to study them.
Might be, but from another perspective, I think the findings and fundamentally the privacy concepts, they are pretty same or pretty similar actually between the different groups. More or less, there's a difference on which apps are used, but fundamentally also on how people perceive privacy, the importance of privacy, etc. I would say we all believe into quite similar values there.
Right. But a small input there. Boomers did not really have a concept of data privacy because everybody seemed to know everything, and also they were not digital. So I'm guessing for them it's a long learning curve.
Yeah, I should ask my parents actually, but it's for sure more and more learning experience. Yeah, and but again, talking about the concepts, and for me, one of the most important concepts is the concept of privacy paradox, which basically describes the concept that we truly care about privacy, all of us internally. And whenever we get asked questions about privacy, we tend to know things. And we, again, care about our personal data, but we usually do not tend to act accordingly, which means fundamentally, I'm aware that something happens, but I'm still not acting accordingly. I still have, I don't know, smart speakers at home. I still download free apps, free stuff, free articles, free news, independently from the potential risks accordingly. I'm regularly talking also to a professor of a German university, and I think he said something super smart: whenever something is free, consider it as not being neutral. And whatever we are basically doing here, this should be something that we always should keep in mind.
Yeah, I think someone else also added to it, if there is no product, you are the product. So yes.
Exactly. Exactly.
So between all of this,
Yeah.
how does the gap between consumer awareness and action on privacy pose hidden trust and compliance risk for brands?
Yeah. No, good question, actually. I think until we can already quote some part of the research that we did, which is fundamentally 77% of people, they do not really understand how brands collect or use their data. And this is massive because this can fundamentally quickly create confusion, and confusion then turns into doubt, and then doubt turns into potentially mistrust. So when people don't understand and don't trust the initial consent flow on websites, there's a high chance that they might simply walk away from websites. So the impact of business is actually something that independently from our research we have encountered in many research out there. So 36% is what we found out in our research. So 36% have already stopped using a site or deleted an app because of privacy worries. So that means brands can lose both, not just the user itself as a buying persona, but also obviously the valuable first-party data which everyone relies to. And I mean, to be honest, we can also talk about a question behind it. Like, would you share your data with a company that is simply not open or less open about how they use your privacy data, how they use your data? And here again comes, as we initially started to talk about privacy paradox, people say, no, of course, I wouldn't share data and do it. But fundamentally, we see that some of the companies, some of the persons, they act differently. They say yes, but only in major cases if the benefits outweigh. So not all companies, that's the other side of it, not all companies have something to outweigh the risks. Not all companies are TikTok and Instagram that have the addictive algorithms. So long story short, the majority of companies out there, they need to explain things clearly, in order to make sure that not only the regulatory fines are there, but also not losing the quality of data they need for personalization and growth, which fundamentally, as we all know, leads to monetization in the end.
That's right. But why is the consumer discomfort with AI data so prevalent, you think? And why is it forcing companies to rethink privacy beyond the basic concept? So, for an instance, if somebody wants a very small example, if somebody wants my cell phone number when I'm making a purchase, I have the option of saying no, but most people don't. So
Yeah.
why? What is the gap there?
Yeah. No, totally makes sense. And also something that we found out there is that AI is making people nervous. We found out that 59% of users are uncomfortable with their data being used to train AI. In the case of your phone number, for example, we're talking about you create a support ticket, for example. The support ticket is then created by an AI bot behind it. And the question is, do you want to share your phone number? Yes or no? And not just that, also you're talking about personal data, your phone number in that case. And we also have a number which is 48% of users trust AI less than humans when it comes to handling personal data. And going a step further, because there also was a release of two publisher reports quite recently, I think around 2 weeks ago, that are a little bit less optimistic than we are here. Yeah, so they found out that in North America, around 13 to 15% of consumers trust companies. Only like trust companies that use AI tools with customers. Like this is 13 to 15%. That's just almost nothing. And it is actually less, to come back to your phone number, when sharing personal data to improve AI, then we are talking about less than 15% of consumers that actually want to share this data. So the funny thing is that the concept here, this is not new. I have the impression that we are circling around the same topics of trust again and again and again. Initially, it was just about tracking technologies in general. And now we have a new thing coming up, which is called AI, right? So people don't trust companies that potentially misuse their data. Same concept. And what always can help here is to be more open, to be transparent, to be clear on the purposes that you're looking into, for example. But to come back to your question, this shows that the basic click to consent in a way no longer works. Like people are consent fatigued. They are tired of seeing cookie banners everywhere. So consumers now want brands to explain a little bit better how their data flows into artificial intelligence and what it is really used for. So it's less about permissioning something. It's more about the justification of something. People want to know why and who basically benefits. And brands that can't explain their AI practices, they have a massive risk in losing trust, while those that explain and humanize AI can fundamentally stand out. So this can be a way to deeper look into. Yeah.
How true is it, you feel, that data ownership and user control will be the key competitive edge for brands going forward? That you can create that safe space and also from the back end, from your point of operations, not misuse the data, make sure that that you stay compliant to data privacy laws. How critical is it for becoming a critical edge for companies and brands, to carry trust, to increase their, I don't know, reputation, whatever?
Yeah, no, makes sense. Data ownership, user control. So basically, the moments, or let me rephrase that. So when data ownership and user control are coming in, then it's basically the moments when less trust is needed. Like in a perfect world, when I have data ownership and when I have the user control, then I need less trust, because trust, at least in my definition, can be defined in, let's say, uncertainty in a way. I don't know how a situation will end, but I trust that it will end good. So I would more say that data ownership and user control are basically tools to improve trust. And in our research, we have basically asked about it and asked users, like, are these, for example, concepts that can really help? And the findings is trust hinges on transparency. So for 44%, this transparency is the number one reason why they trust a brand, because they are open on what they're doing with data, right? And super close, right next to it, 43% say having the control over their data is just as important. So user control or data control and transparency are the number one reasons here. And this is actually also something how we should interpret, like, the going forward from here. So we will see in the consent space, the permission, the justification, as we just mentioned it, these spaces. It's super important to understand this more as an overall user experience and a longer journey when a user comes to a website and what the user is fundamentally doing there. So it's less and less one overall reject of all data together. Like when we also ask a question in that direction, in fact, 65% are willing to share if they clearly understand the value exchange. Again, we're talking about a support ticket. We're talking about a video that you want to watch, a Google Maps integration to find out where the next stores. So we need to think data in a contextualized way to make end users understand why and what for the data is needed. And brands that give the customers or that give customers control don't just stay in a way compliant. They build stronger engagement. They will have better data quality. They will have the long-term loyalty. So from a C-level or from a leadership view, this is massively important. Consented first-party data isn't just safer; it's the growth engine that improves marketing precision and marketing campaigns in the future.
So I think my next question you already answered a bit in this one. What can brands do to bring down the barrier of a lack of trust between them and their customer?
Yeah.
Are there any tools you recommend? And then by relation, would you like to explain a little bit about the concept of a consent management platform? Because what we see right now as a user, would you allow us, would you accept the cookies? Yes, no. Only for this time, right? So how much more complex is that?
Yeah. It depends. Like also, there's obviously always a personal view and a company view that we are talking about here. But you're fundamentally talking about what companies can do, and what is for sure is the way that brands present privacy is mattering and will matter, especially in the future. So we are talking about a simpler user experience. We're talking about simple words, clear visuals, transparent explanations, and make users feel safe. And fundamentally, there are two concepts behind it, or two ways to solve it. One, you could name it trust by design. So consent should be seen as a brand moment. So cookie banners can be designed like landing pages a little bit. Like there's a harmony of the background, the foreground. They can have simple wordings, make them approachable in a way. And actually ask yourself, would you or your friends or your family understand what it says here? And what do you think? And they think what could be improved. Make it as simple as it is. Ask your child, ask your mother, ask your friends, ask them, does it make sense? Do you feel comfortable sharing your data, yes or no? So trust by design is one concept. And the other concept we already talked about briefly before is the concept of contextual privacy, which basically means try to understand the journey on your website, your app, etc., and then ask yourself, can I contextualize it? By making privacy clear, by asking in the moment when privacy matters, create a clear value exchange. Again, you want to watch a video, ask right before the video. You want to increase the speed of your support ticket, not just waiting for tomorrow. You can make it being served faster by using an AI agent, for example, then say yes to the AI support. This is a clear value exchange. So to bring this together, a simple, understandable user experience that creates transparency and a feeling of control that guides people then through the choices along the user journey and builds confidence instead of what we initially had, the confusion. And the result that you potentially will see are more opt-ins, stronger relationships, better marketing performance, like simply a better overall world. And basically, you also were talking about the concept of cookie banners. I mean, what cookie banners are fundamentally doing, it is like an element between a website or an app and a user that makes sure that tracking can be made possible. Tracking can be done for everything. So we define basically the majority of tools as tracking tools. Every external third-party tool can do tracking. Every first-party integration have also the opportunity to track. And all of this is somehow required to monetize better, have better campaigns, sell more products, sell them better, get more traffic to your websites. So all of these positive elements can be in there, and the CMP along the journey, like a CMP is a cookie banner, and not just a cookie banner, also a consent solution can really improve the overall journey if you think it as a journey. Yeah. Where can I ask for consent? Think less about a binary journey, like the initial first element on the website, and rethink it in simple steps across the user journey wherever you are.
So the secret would be to not look at it from your point of view, but from the customer's point of view.
Exactly. Yeah. And therefore ask friends and family on how they can improve it. Yeah.
But you're not the boomers because you can't improve it.
Yeah. that is what you said, but but for sure.
I'm sure there are a lot of people of all age groups who understand, and I know a lot of youngsters who don't. So
True.
thanks so much, Tilman. Very, very informative and very lively conversation. Really grateful for the time you made for us today.
Thank you for joining us for the Enterprise Thought Leadership Podcast. Please do follow us on social media and subscribe for more ideas and insights. Until next time.